to uh, come on, and uh, couple couple might show up. We'll give everyone a chance. I'll turn my iPad on and get it started. I had to remember the passcode. We go to YouTube. Scott Redwood. Guys Walker is live. Okay, so let me turn this volume down. Okay. Um, there's usually uh, my iPad lags just a little bit, so um, I have to give it a second. So I've been doing these shirts. I've been calling them the oh, I didn't have to mirrored arc roll because we're mirroring the shirt. We're drawing an arc right here, and we're rolling down the line. I just let my top kind of do its thing. Now I kind of help it, you know, if it's, I help it just the tiniest bit. I don't roll it though. I don't keep it tight. I let it go, let it be as loose as it wants to. That way I get good flow. That's how I'm getting good flow with these. Um, hello, Vonda. K dot sup. Hey, hey. I thought about calling you and telling you that I was going to go live if you call. I don't know if I'd answer or not, but um, Skater tight. I knew you'd show up. But so what I did with this shirt, like I said, I mirrored it, I rolled it, drew an arc, rolled down the line. Um, I usually do dye under the ice. With this and a few more that I've done, I've been doing dye over the ice. When I do dye under ice, I'm using a ridiculous amount of dye. And when I'm doing dye over ice, I use very little. Um, so I need to quit saying all the time. Sorry about it. Sorry about that. But so I want to do, I have a pro club. This is on a pro club heavyweight. Went to uh, a store that buys pallets from Amazon, and they sell everything at, you know, the first day. I think it starts every week starts, it starts on like Friday, and Friday's $10. So everything in the store is $10, and then Saturday's $8, Sunday $6, and then four and then $1. I went in on, I think it was a $10 day. It was the first, maybe $8, but all their apparel was $1. And I got 30 of these shirts for a dollar a piece or 30 bucks. They're all longs, heavyweight longs. So they're kind of like if you ever used a Gildan hammer or even a Hanes Beefy T, they're pretty thick. I don't know what they are. I'm sure they're probably, I can't remember what a Gildan is. Was it 7 or 8 ounces? I forget. This is about the same. But I want to do it a little, I want to do it dye over ice, but I want to use different colors. If you know me, you know my favorite colors are strawberry skies and moose. So I would like to do these colors, but do it the same way. Now I'm kind of expecting different results color wise, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm going to use the same. This is a Gildan Heavy Cotton. I'm just showing you the colorway that I wanted to do, Moose and Strawberry Skies. It's probably my favorite two colors to use together. Has always and always has been. So I'm going to use another heavy Pro Club, and it's a XL long, and we're going to have to mirror our shirt. I'll show you how to do that in case you don't know already. I kind of get my shirt out and stretched out. I have these rifle cleaning rods that I use to get a good, nice and tight, good starting point. These are some heavy shirts, but they dye pretty good. They should flow pretty good too. Okay. Thanks, man. I appreciate that very much. They're actually pretty easy to do. Um, the rolling's easy. Mirroring the shirt is probably the hardest part of this. So I just go up to the neckline. I'm just eyeballing, and it's just a place that I'm going to grab. It usually is pretty close to being on, just because it looks like dead center. Grab at the bottom and put your two ends together. I try to keep this line straight and flush, all four things. That way I know I'm in this dead center. I pinch kind of hard, make a line, and then on the outside, and then that'll be the back of the shirt, and then that'll be the front, and that's where I'll grab. So I fold it and grab there, uh, fold it, grab there, lift up, set it down. I kind of I try to keep my bottom really nice and flush. Grab that sleeve, slip it inside this sleeve. Try to line my hems up there. I guess it would be. I don't know, but I have a seam, shoulder seam coming up through here, and running in the underneath also. So I'm going to line these two up as best as I can, and not go by my tag, because some shirts are not perfect. And if you go by your tag and just cut it down the middle, it could be off, and your mirrored image will be not so mirrored. It'll be mirrored, but it's going to be off. So I go by these seams instead, line them up nice. That feels all right. And sometimes it lands, well, most of the time it lands on a good shirt. It'll land in the center. Looks like it is. Okay, lay that out, grab over here and flip it, line that up. I try to keep my center down here nice and crisp, like so. Now pick it up, give it a light snap. And that will help everything kind of push down. Line that back up. Now I'll use my cleaning rods again. I need to keep my head out of the way. Turn my head around too. I forgot about that. I feel like taking this long sleeve shirt off. It's kind of warm now. Let me move the other side here. But I'll grab my rifle cleaning rod, go up into the second one, the middle one. And that gives me a nice crisp edge right there. There we go. I'll do the same with the cleaning rod, stick it up there. Try to get a nice, when I feel a wrinkle in there. So what I do is I go through this first piece of the shirt right here and lift up, push up, give a little gap right there. And I can go through my second one again and push up and it'll kind of fill that gap most of the time. It did. And I can do the same underneath there. That feels good. There's a little wrinkle right there, but it came out. It's not going to really, it would be so hard to see a little wrinkle in the sleeve. Always go up through there again and make sure it's nice and tight. So that's a good thing about, using a couple of these rods. You can get nice and tight and no wrinkles. And I think that helps with the overall look for sure. Okay, can you guys hear me? I guess if you didn't, you'd be saying something, huh? Okay, so mirrored image, and that arc we're going to draw in the center and make it go like that. All right, so I'll put, like I said, that's probably the hardest part of this design is mirroring the shirt because rolling it is actually pretty easy. I feel it'll start to wrinkle up on you and you just power through it. So I like to start, here would be the armpit. I like to go up just a little bit. I put a dot there and I'd like it to come down, something like that down below the armpit. Sometimes I go on the shirt and see it kind of goes up. So I come off and onto the table a little bit and that'll do it right there. So I want a nice bright line so I can see through it because these shirts are thick. Just like that. That'll be good. So then when you open it up, uh, it'll be fanned. So now we'll just roll on that line. Easy peasy. Like I said, the wrinkles are going to happen. Let me make sure I am in the center there. I'll try to keep my head up out of the way. Okay, there we go. Pinch it and roll it. Keep it kind of tight. You can kind of pull back a little bit to see, I can already see wrinkles starting to form right there. I don't really care. I just don't. I mean, it's me. But I don't really. I help it a little bit, but I don't like roll these. And you'll see the top will start rolling itself. I don't know if you can see, if you can zoom in. I've got a wrinkle right there, and I'll just go right through it. I don't really care. You can push it over. I think it kind of looks kind of cool. So you can see how the top just did its thing. And then the bottom will be the last to go. And I'll end up moving, grabbing this edge and just kind of helping it once I get down here. Roll it. Roll, roll, roll. Okay, so I can see a line right there. I'll come over here so I try to keep my head out of the way. Here's my line. So roll it to, usually get it to about right there. there. And here's where I just flip it like that, grab it and bend it like that. Now, if you want, I already have a little rubber band ready. Set it right there in the center. We'll just play with that and see how it works out. We'll throw. I already have a gutter, so this isn't very long. It shouldn't be a very long video. I like to talk and explain myself, and I didn't explain that that was a shirt soaked in soda ash. I did soak that in soda ash and spun it out in my Panda spin dryer for probably 45 seconds. And then we just folded it up, set it in the gutter on top of a little, uh, what I did, I'll show you, is went to the dollar store and I got one of these bends, plastic bends. I just cut it down here and kind of bend it out, and I use it as a rack underneath so I don't have a bunch of muck lines. Sometimes I use a rack and sometimes I don't. I don't know. There's really no rhyme or reason, but I just kind of do it that way. And then my friend, Leaf Watson, uh, I saw he used some sponges. I always use these washcloths, and they're not the easiest to clean out sometimes. So I saw that he used some sponges, and all this is just keeping the ice in check. This is the first I've used it. There's no reason why it's not going to work because it's in there tighter than the washcloths that I use. Okay, so now all we have to do, and I try to keep this down towards the bottom of my gutter because with that rack right there, this shirt's kind of heavy, so it's not going to move down very much. But if you've ever done inclined ice dye and you go a little too steep with it, all your work will slide down. I don't really see too much of a difference when that does happen. Of course, the first time it happened to me, I stressed over it, but it didn't really show much difference. So all we have to do is add ice over this, and the weight of this is going to kind of push that down. It'll be all right. And let me grab my ice. And we got some cleaning tablets, ice machine pack cleaning tablets off Amazon, and used in my ice maker. Cleaned it all out and quit using tap water and started using purify or oh, it's like I forget what it's called, purified. It's like purified water or whatnot. And so let me get my. I have a salad bowl. Pretty much, it's kind of like a salad bowl. I guess it would be. So, um, and pour some ice in it. See, had a crack in it. And I just duct taped it. We're pretty resilient people, huh? Now my ice is clear as can be, and I'm getting some bright colors again. I knew it was. I mean, when you have hard water like that, okay, so you don't really have to um, be too easy. As I said, the weight of the ice is going to weigh that down. And, I try not to touch it a whole lot because after I make my ice, I store it in a deep freezer. So my ice is real dry because it's been in there for a couple days and it's all really frozen. And I think that's why it helps more with my results using the drier ice. Because when I put my dye on top, it usually just sits up on top. It doesn't. It takes a minute to melt. I'm going to use Put a little more ice right up there. And I've learned the chunkier the ice, the better the flow. Now, I don't know about big, huge chunks like that, but with this being chunky ice, it's hitting all different ways, like snow dyeing, using snow dye. I don't really care for it because I feel like I'm not getting as good a flow and split. So, so that's about the amount of dye ice that I'm going to use on top of this shirt. Now I want to show you. Let me set this to the side for just a second. And I just saw something. Now on the back of this shirt, I had one little piece of white at the top. And I'm going to try my best to get a little better saturation, I guess, on top. I think I could go just a little bit heavier with my dye. And there's a little white spot right here. It's not anything major to me, but still. So I'm going to try to I'm just going to try to get really good saturation on this. So I'm going to go just a little bit heavier with my dye. But this is kind of weird. Uh, that's all. This strip right here. Now, but the thing is, I'm going to do this exact thing tomorrow morning before I leave for work. This will all be melted and it won't be dripping anymore. It's 72 degrees down here right now. Okay, so I think I'll do, oh, because when I lay my dye down, I'm serpentining my dye and laying it kind of snake-like with one color, and then I'm filling in the sides with another color. So do I want to use Strawberry Skies on the sides? I think I do because I like although I haven't seen the inside, I don't think with Strawberry Skies. So I'll do, let's see, it's more loading. Okay, I'll do Strawberry Skies in the center and uh, and then Moose on the side. Okay, so I'll try to keep my head out of the way as best as I can. Just Strawberry Skies was given to me by a friend, and I was super happy when I got it because I didn't have any more, and um, she got a good batch of it, and it comes out pretty good. So I'm going to serpentine this dye. I'm going to start in the center here. Serpentine it around. And I'll add more dye here in a second, just kind of right there. And this is exactly how I did that. And that was the yellow shirt, yellow and brownish looking shirt with Moose. It's Moose and Loden. And Loden is by Pro Chemical and Dye Company. Moose is a special order color. If you want to order it direct from the company, you have to order at least 5 pounds. You can get it through Tie Dye Supplies Marketplace, a group on Facebook. They get it and then divvy it out however you want it. Yeah. Of course, good people, Kathy Reavers, good people. Okay, so I'm gonna put my lid on that for now because I'm gonna be putting some loose on here. I don't want to cross contaminate it. It's the little things like that you learn like your first week, Make sure you wipe your spoon off before you go into another dye. Okay, so I'm going to just fill in the gaps with mousse. And if I overdo it, overlap, it's all right. And there might not be any shirt right here on this side, but still, it'll be all right. So thank you, Leaf, for showing your picture with the sponges. I think it's going to work a lot better than sitting there rinsing those out all the time. Okay, so I'm going to do this now, and then tomorrow morning, like I said, I'm going to do this again and hit the other side because I want really good saturation. It's not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt anything. And that's about it. I might go a little, I'm going to go a little more at the top. There we go. There we go. Like that. If it's thick right through there, you know, the shirts are thick and then I'm rolling pretty tight on there. Okay. That's good with the mousse. And I dropped a little piece of mousse on my table. I want to get it off there before I do anything else. This is the only time I ever put dye up on this table. I have a dye station right behind me that I do all my dye placement on. I try to keep it all over there. Um, so that's that for mousse. I'm going to wipe I use the same spoon if I'm only doing a couple dyes. And I have a couple towels over here that I use to wipe it off. And I'm going to get a little heavier up here with my strawberry spice. So this will be so still, if you've seen the dye under ice, you've seen how much dye I use. It's a crazy amount, but I have to do that if I want to get bright colors. I have to use a lot of dye and a lot of ice. So that's what I'm doing with this. I'm using a lot of dye and a lot of ice. And tomorrow there will be white on the bottom of this. So that's why I flip it and it'll be up here. And it might even just be a tiny little piece. But if there's a little piece of white on on the bottom of your work with this fold, these rolls, you know there's going to be white on the inside. It's going to be undersaturated. So I flip it and just do the exact same thing. Now, here's something I just remembered that I did with this other shirt. I did my serpentine like this. Tomorrow, and then the next day, I laid my dye. I flipped the shirt and then laid the dye the same way. Shouldn't I probably go like that? That way, it would be the same on the other side. I think I will. So, hey, Leaf, I just mentioned you. I hope I really appreciate you showing these sponges. Man, what a really good idea, because I always use those washcloths um, and it's just a hassle, and they're not very tall, and this gives me my height. I just cut them off to fit, and they fit in there nice and tight, which it's just, why we're using it, just so that the ice doesn't fly out the end, keeps everything contained. So I really appreciate you sharing that, man, because it's such a good idea. And I'm glad you're here to at least hear me say thank you because I really do appreciate it. It's a really good idea. And then I'm going to add, this is just straight soda ash. I'm going to add some soda ash on top. A lot of times um, will add globber salt to make a little mixture of soda ash and Glover salt. I do stuff. Uh, Sometimes I do one thing, and the next time I do the next thing. I don't know. I seem to, I guess, get similar results. I don't know how sometimes. But, so I went heavy on this side. Tomorrow I'm going to go kind of heavy, but I won't have to go near as heavy. So, and I'm not going to show it. I'm just going to show the reveal here in a couple days. Um, so tomorrow morning, it'll be kind of early too. There shouldn't be any ice. If there is ice on it when I wake up, I'm just going to go to work, and when I come home, I'll redo the bottom. It'll still be wet, and it'll still be all right, and accept the dye. So I'll do the same thing, except my serpentine, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to go that way. And I'll remember because I always serpentine that way. This isn't the first time I've dyed like this with dye over ice. I've never done it with a fan fold. I should try it. It'd be fun to see the results. So, hey, Crafty Cuban, I appreciate you showing up. So this was it's easy. Like I said, the mirroring the shirt is probably the hardest thing to do on this fold. I mean, I like easy folds with really good results. I mean, this is a good beginner shirt. So I should put on my title, a good beginner shirt. Because it is. I feel like anybody could do it. It's all how much dye you use. If you have to use a lot of dye, and if you're just starting out and want to do this in dye under ice, you're going to not want to use very much dye because you're new and you don't want to use all your dye. But do it this way, do dye over ice, and I feel like I get better results. I get better flow because I get better flow with dye over ice when it's sitting on top of this dye. It's going down and rolling and moving and hitting all these cubes. So um, that's it pretty much. So I'm going to incline this. I have a little pan right here and a little box that I just incline it. I'm inclining just a little bit steeper than what I do with fan folds. Fan folds, I incline it right about 17 to 20 degrees. Incline, 20-degree incline. Um, Now I'm hitting, it's not that much deeper, but yeah, about 25 to 30. It's not 30, there's no way. It's probably 25 degrees, 20, but still, it creates a good flow. But so you see my dye, this kind of sitting on top of the ice. It didn't hit and just spread out. That's why I feel like my results. You know, if when I use wet ice, I get different results than what I do when I use dry ice that's been frozen for a while. So if you have a deep freezer, get some ice and try to throw it in the deep freezer and let it freeze and check out your results. You might like them. So I got to move this real quick. I forgot I had a pan sitting here. Let's move this down. Yeah, I got these. What are these called? They're like catering pans. I always forget the name of it. But you can put like little burners underneath of them and stuff. I've had these for years. They will put holes. That soda ash will put holes in it. So I double it up. That way, if one leaks, if this one leaks, the other one will hold it. And I've always done it that way because it happened to me and I had a mess on the floor. So now I just double that, put that down, pick that up, put that end in there, and then I have a box right here, and and it inclines. And I have this down, so if I put my work up here, it's going to slide down. But I always put my work at the bottom, and it's going to start leaking. Yeah. it probably will sooner or later because there is a little hole in the bottom. So how about I go back to the one? I wonder what I did with all. I have a whole stack of them. Oh, I haven't- these ones I haven't used just a few times. Okay. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. I usually don't give a notice. I thought about going on the Facebook groups and saying I was going live in 15 minutes, but man, that always makes me nervous. I can we can just hang out and make it a kind of a small thing, and if people want to check it out later, they can. But so we'll see what the flow does, and we'll just let this be a learning piece. I mean, it's the fabric's a lot thicker. They're almost like gilding hammer. So that's why I know I have to flip these, you know, and do the same process. So I'm going to do that in the morning. If as long as the ice is melting, I can tell it's going to. I mean, this is about the time of night I usually work, and the ice is usually melted when I get up. So thanks again, Leaf. You talked me out of using those pants because there was a little hole in it. If the other one, the top one, gets a leak, the other one's it's going to leak on my table. So thanks again. I mean, it's always hard to say goodbye. I don't know why, but thanks for tuning in. Have a good night. If you go out, um, be safe. Call an Uber. This stuff's just even in small. They're all over the place, man. So there's no sense in driving around. You know. So be safe, and uh, I'll show you the results to that. And see what's today, Sunday, the Monday, Tuesday, and then probably Wednesday night, right around that time. All right, so I'll see you guys, and I appreciate you, and we'll keep we'll keep doing them. All right, so if you guys have any ideas, let me know. I need to work on mandalas, so maybe I'll work on some mandalas and do a mandala live or something. I've done a couple, but there weren't anything to write home about. I mean, they weren't bad, but you know. So, all right. Well, thanks. And I'll see you guys on Tuesday or Wednesday night, one of the two. All right. Peace out.